Hello, everyone. This is the Mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today as I take a deeper look into the most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 7 or 8, Episode 15. I'm not going to be doing a full episode recap. There are plenty of other content creators who will do a great job covering the show. So today I wanted to discuss the two conversations or arguments that the ladies had at the dinner table. The first one was between Sunny and Destiny, and the second was between Destiny and Melody. As I told you guys before, I'm glad that Destiny's back on the show. I like Destiny's energy. Destiny is, she's confident, but she's not arrogant, right? She seems very humble, but also very self-assured and confident in herself. So I like her energy for the show. She actually reminds me of Sharnita a little bit, and even Kimmy. I wouldn't be surprised if Destiny and Sharnita at some point get closer, not become besties, but they become more cordial with each other. But the ladies were at the dinner table discussing Sunny's relationship with Destiny, and it came out that Sunny was not being forthright or honest about the extent of her relationship with Destiny. She kind of downplayed their connection to relationship to justify getting married to Moses. And so Destiny came with the receipt. She basically revealed that not only was Moses texting Destiny saying that he loved her up until the month that he and Sunny got engaged, but Sunny was telling Destiny that she loved her too. And it turns out that Sunny was basically managing Destiny's music career, which could explain why it didn't go anywhere for whatever reason. But yeah, it turns out that Sunny was a lot closer to Destiny than she had initially stated. And she basically lied, in my opinion, to justify what she was doing with Moses. I think that at a certain age, a lot of women become really desperate for the last penis on earth. A lot of women who are of childbearing age or who are, watching their biological clock, they're in their late 30s, early 40s, that girl code situation, it's thrown out of the window when it comes to a man, period. We saw the way that some of the cast treated each other when they arrived at the villa. And, the energy changed when they were talking to their husband. So I'm going to say this, though. I didn't know the room, at second glance, the room that Kimmy, Tisha, and Destiny was in was really small. It did look like the helper's quarters or the maid's quarters or the slave quarters. It did not look like it was a part of the house at all, to be honest. And so I can understand why Kimmy and Tisha were upset. But at the same time, it would be kind of cool to be in the same room as a close friend while you're on a trip. Not for no weirdness, but to just talk about marriage and relationships and to bond closer as friends. So it's kind of bittersweet for them to be in that small space, but at least they're in that small space with people that they can vibe with, which I think was not a bad idea. So yeah, Sunny is going to justify what she was doing to Destiny. Destiny came with the receipts. I mentioned before that I like Destiny's energy. Destiny is a good fit for the show, even though she and Melody had a falling out, and I think it was because of other people's opinions about their relationship and what was going on between them. Now, Melody basically stated that Destiny should have known that she would feel some kind of way about her hanging out with the mistress, which is true. But it sounds like Melody was holding grudges and not expressing how she felt because she wanted people to just understand and know and empathize. And most people are not like that. Most people don't have enough empathy to understand what you're going through. You have to kind of express that to them. So as a water sign myself, I have to be conscious about not expecting people to read my mind about certain things. Even though I'm like, okay, you should understand this. You should understand that because you know my situation. You know how I am. Most people don't think that way. Most people have a different way of thinking altogether. So there was a miscommunication between Destiny and Melody that got blown out of proportion by Martell and Arionne and some of the stands in the audience. So yeah, I'm not surprised that Sunny said what she said to Destiny. Sharnita kind of had to backtrack a little bit. And to be fair, Sharnita was like, well, I want to hear things from your side of the story because we heard things from Sunny's side. And Sharnita asked Sunny, you told this lady you loved her? Meaning you were not just cordial acquaintances. You were forming some sort of emotional connection with Destiny, who you're working with and who you're managing. Like, there was some level of trust there. I'm not going to let anybody manage me that I don't trust. And so, yeah, I think Sunny was desperate to get married, desperate to have a baby. Moses was the last penis standing for her. she had no other option, so she had to settle for this felon who has a crazy track record, and they got married within 3 months. Is that a real relationship? Are they really married? Or is this for the show? Who gets married in 3 months at the age of 40? Unless you're desperate. So hopefully Destiny is getting over that situation because it seems very toxic at the outset. The way Moses talks to Sunny, it's like he's not even interested in her in that way. There's no chemistry or something. He could be shy or nervous or anxious. I don't know what's going on, but he looks awkward when he talks to her. He barely looks at her in her face. Now, it is weird that Sunny and Destiny look like they could be sisters. That's just the way that they look. I don't think that Moses is 100% over Destiny. I think that he married Sunny out of impulse. He seems to be impulsive. That's why he was in jail so many times. He seems to be irrational also. So yeah, it's a weird thing. I halfway don't believe that they're actually married after 3 months. Did they get married for the show? Like, why would you get married after 3 months of knowing someone who knew your friend and you're almost in your 40s, if that? She looks like she's in her 40s, so why would you? That's weird. Now on to Destiny and Melody's argument. So at one point, the conversation between Destiny and Sunny ended, and, Miss Nell was like, okay, that's over with. Let's talk about something positive. What we doing tomorrow? Melody tells what's going on tomorrow, and Teacher says, well, let's get all of this out in the open now so that we can prevent this energy from dragging on throughout the rest of the trip. Let's nip this in the bud now. And that's fine. I wouldn't have done that then, but whatever, right? There's a method to the madness. It is what it is. So Teacher asks Melody and Destiny if they have anything they want to discuss because they had a falling out over 2 years ago, a year ago. And Melody said, I have nothing to say to her. If there was something important to be said, it should have been said before this trip. And the Teacher says, well, Destiny, Melody said F you. And she basically told Destiny that Melody implied that Martell and Destiny may have had something going on. She's like, I don't know what she's doing, whatever. And so Destiny, of course, was offended by that. But yeah, Teacher was like, well, Melody said F you. And Destiny's like, what? What happened? Now, that is low-key kind of Melody's fault because when she had the opportunity to tell Destiny how she felt, she didn't take it. So Teacher had to kind of instigate the conversation or get it popping for the sake of the show, I guess. And Teacher looked like she was enjoying herself. But Destiny was like, wow, if there was nothing to be said, why would you tell me, fuck me? Like, that's crazy. So then this devolves into an argument. And Destiny and Melody start discussing or arguing about how their friendship fell apart. And at one point, Destiny stated that Melody was coaching Arionne on how to cheat, because Melody had formed some sort of relationship, a cordial relationship with Arionne. Of course, Melody got really upset about the idea that she was training Arionne on how to cheat respectfully, but then the producers showed a clip of Melody talking about respectful cheating in season 1, episode 1. So, I don't think that Melody was training Arionne on how to cheat or how to be a good mistress. I think that even though Destiny was telling the truth about watching Melody communicate with Arionne, because Arionne also substantiated this on Tasha K's interview a couple years ago, I think that Destiny's interpretation of that situation was influenced by Martell's opinion of what happened. Yes, I do believe that Melody was talking to Arionne about Martell because Arionne would call Melody complaining about Martell as if they were cool. So they had some sort of relationship where Arionne felt comfortable calling Melody complaining about her husband, right? But I'm going to explain something, okay? Melody was married to Martell for over a decade. They had 3 children at the point that she finds out that Martell is cheating on her. They had homes, businesses, life plans together. Their lives are completely enmeshed. And so when she found out about the affair, Melody wanted to find out if Arionne was worth losing her marriage over. And if I was Melody, I would have done the same damn thing. I would have kept my friends close and my enemies closer. For me, the reason why I would take that approach is that the worst thing that can happen to anyone mentally and emotionally is being blindsided by someone you love and trust. Melody was forging a relationship with Arionne to get the tea about Martell so that she could not only manage her emotions about the situation, but potentially manage Martell and Arionne as well. Melody had to get information from Martell and Arionne to determine where she stood in her marriage relative to their situation. Because like most narcissists, Martell was telling Melody one thing and Arionne something else because he was triangulating between them. So for her security and her mental health, Melody had to do intel. Essentially, she had to go on a reconnaissance mission to find out how her life was going to be affected by her husband and his mistress. In that situation, ignorance is not bliss, and knowledge is power because Melody could not trust the information that Martell was giving her. She had to connect with Arionne on some sister girl BS to find out the extent of the deception Martell was pulling on her. Melody was not condoning what Martell was doing. She was trying to protect herself and her children with knowledge, and to be honest, she may have wanted to size up Arionne to see if she was any competition. So Destiny's interpretation of that situation sounds like something Martell would say to her, which is why he was so upset about Melody leaving. He never expected her to leave because he thought she was cool with the situation because he knew Melody and Arionne were in communication. Melody wanted to know where Martell was going when he said he was going to the gym. She wanted to know where he was when he wasn't home when she got there. She wanted to make sure she knew how to navigate the situation in her favor and in her children's favor. Now, I wouldn't do all this for a boyfriend. Absolutely not. But for a husband, I absolutely would get close to the mistress to find out what's going on. And am I about to lose everything? Is this relationship worth fighting for? Will my children grow up in a broken home? How deep are my husband's feelings about this lady? Are they plotting against me? Because if he's just having sex with her, the lady, and there's no feelings involved, my reaction to it or about it won't be as severe as if he were in love with her. This is why I said marriage is about compromise, because you're not just thinking about yourself or making decisions for yourself. You're making decisions for your children, your financial future, your extended family. There's a lot more at stake. I've never been married, and I don't think I'll ever get married. But I would do exactly what Melody did in that situation, okay? Melody wanted to verify if Arionne was worth throwing away someone she loved because she still loved Martell, right? They were married for over 10 years, 2 businesses, multiple homes, status. All of this is taken into consideration when you're in a complicated situation like this. Destiny may not have understood this because she and LeBeric did not build anything together. And she did not love LeBeric as much as Melody loved Martell. So many women stay married for different reasons: love, ego, stability, children, finances, convenience. And they have to take into consideration how all of these things would change if a divorce occurred. I always said that Melody did not want to divorce Martell. He forced her to. So she hates him for that as well. She hates him for forcing her to divorce him because he pushed her so far to the edge with the disrespect that she chose her integrity over her marriage. And that is a fucked up position to put a woman in because your husband is supposed to protect your honor and your integrity. Now you have to divorce him because he's dishonoring you in public. He's dishonoring you in front of the whole world, in front of your whole city, with someone who hates you. I also think Martell was emboldened in his cheating when he found out Melody and Arionne were talking. He tried to turn his BS into a 3-way situation against Melody's will. He was using Melody's love and loyalty to him to manipulate her into a situation that dishonored her. So he misconstrued her talking to Arionne as if she's cool with it because Martell is very dense and very opaque, okay? So Melody is disgusted with Martell on such a deep level because he forced her hand. She was willing to fight for her marriage. She did not want to share her husband, but she wanted to make sure she wasn't being reckless and careless because her children were going to be affected by whatever decision you chose to make. When you're blindsided, especially by somebody who you love and trust, it knocks the wind out of you. You feel deflated, dejected, depressed, paranoid, heartbroken, angry. All of those negative emotions make it hard for you to manage other areas of your life. You're going to be less attentive to your children, to yourself. You're always going to feel like you have to look over your shoulder. Melody wanted to know if Martell could come home to her and lie to her face after being with Arionne. She wanted to know the kind of man she was dealing with, okay? She wanted to know what Martell was telling Arionne, which would indicate how he felt about her for real and about Melody. She wanted to do everything possible to protect herself from betrayal. So because she knew Martell's comings and goings, she could navigate the relationship differently on a mental, emotional, even financial level. Do you know how many wives are killed by mistresses? She didn't know if Martell had her kids around this mistress, which he apparently did. So Martell was essentially living a double life. It was Melody's responsibility as a woman, a wife, and a mother to protect herself with the knowledge about what her husband was doing in his relationship, period. For her safety, for her sanity, for her integrity, she had to know this. And so, yeah, Destiny, she misinterpreted what was going on. I do think that Destiny's telling the truth, but she misconstrued the relationship. And I think Martell put a bug in Destiny's ear, like, oh, she was okay with it. She was cool with it. She knew, no, that wasn't what was happening. Melody was getting intel about what was going on because he was lying to her and lying to Arionne. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. If I know what you're telling me and I know what you're telling her, I can find out the truth somewhere in the middle. Melody was doing data analysis, and you need data to analyze. I can't just analyze data you're giving me. I have to know what you're telling and doing with this other woman so that I know how you feel about me and my position in this relationship. And if we're going to stay married or not, because my life is depending on this. Simple. So, and it's unfortunate because you can still tell that Destiny cares about Melody to an extent. She still cares about her. It's just that she had to pick a side. And, you know, at that point, there was so much beef going on and conflict that could have been instigated by Martell and also some of the stance in the situation. Yeah, but I'm happy she's back on the show, honestly. Not because she's going at it with Melody. No, I like Destiny's energy for the show. She is both confident but also humble. So it's like she's going through a lot of embarrassment and humiliation and a lot of stuff, but she still carries herself a certain way that I respect. And I think Sharnita is going to grow to respect her also at some point, right? Not saying that we're best friends, but I was right about Destiny and Sunny getting closer. So yeah, they have a similar type of energy. They're both kind of alpha. It's unfortunate this happened, but I do believe Destiny and I do believe Melody. It's just that there was confusion going on. Again, Arionne was a pawn in the situation. Melody was trying to find out what was going on with Arionne so that she knew what was going on with Martell. That's all. And Martell took it as if she was okay with it, like a dummy. Anyway, it's over with. It's like rehashing the past, but it's over with now. It's done with. It's a shame that Melody and Destiny fell apart or fell out over this, but it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to reading your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.